Tempted to believe that left-wing extremism isn't a threat to you, in particular the woke movement. The majority of this audience has the good sense to steer clear of leftist idiocy. Thus, you may be tempted to believe that cancerous cancel culture is no big threat to you. You may want to rethink that position. Wokeism, an existential threat to America. That's our focus in tonight's preamble. The simple truth, the people in charge of the United States right now, our government, they hate this country. The cancel culture, wokeism, the 1619 Project, critical race theory, or whatever Marxist extremism comes next. It's all designed to usher in the fall of the United States and the rise of a totalitarian one-world order. America has been a thorn in the side of this movement for centuries, so long as we were united on the basic American concepts embodied in the U.S. Constitution, that is. But Socialist Democrats have declared war on our founding principles, falsely calling them racist and pushing for a government-centered replacement, a replacement that does away with the Bill of Rights and the rule of law. The socialists are aided in their quest by a corrupt news media, willing to overlook or cover up the harm being done to this country. One of the biggest policy failures currently harming America is the multiple border crises occurring at the southern border. The Team Biden continues to allow illegal immigration into the United States at an unprecedented rate. The facilities used to process waves of illegal aliens have become hotbeds of crime and rape against children. Current estimates show that over 2 million illegal aliens will come into the United States this year alone. Biden has committed the U.S. taxpayers to picking up the tab for the care, feeding, educating, and housing of these illegal aliens. His team is also working hard to make sure Americans don't know where in the United States these aliens are being sent. It is my belief that no majority in the United States voted for the billions of dollars that Biden's policies will take out of our families' budgets to pay for his illegal alien importation scheme. At least one agency is looking into Biden and his awarding of a no-bid contract to spend $87 million taxpayer dollars to house illegal aliens in hotels in Arizona and Texas. While Biden and his merry band of Marxist-Leninists work to import millions of foreign nationals illegally over the border, Biden is working just as tirelessly to deliver for Vladimir Putin's Russia. You may remember the first day of the Biden administration. He was in office. He killed the Keystone XL pipeline. That action immediately killed over 11,000 American jobs. And since then, thousands of other jobs that have actually been lost in industries that supported the Keystone XL pipeline. Biden claimed he killed the project to save Earth from a fabricated climate crisis. Yet Biden, just last week, lifted sanctions to allow Russia to complete the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Apparently, Canadian and American oil is bad, and Russian oil is good for the climate. The White House had no good answer after being called to the carpet for their mixed messaging.
First, we're hardly letting any country or other countries build Nord Stream 2. When the president took office, 95% of this pipeline was built. We've continued to convey that we believe it's a bad idea, a bad plan.
It's a matter of historical fact that President Trump's team managed to bring the Nord Stream 2 project to a halt by placing sanctions on the Russian builders. Biden purposefully lifted those sanctions, and then Jen Psaki claims, well, there's nothing we can do to stop the pipeline. But even a 5-year-old could see all they had to do was leave those sanctions in place, or better yet, push for new sanctions. But Biden wasn't interested in stopping Putin. He wanted to help Putin exert control over Europe, the same way he's pushing for Iran to take over the Middle East in the Obama-Ayatollah nuke deal 2.0. With Putin able to use energy as a weapon, Biden has made a bunch of Russian oligarchs rich, while in the future, Europe will be forced to side with Putin against the United States, further isolating our country. Speaking of our country, back here at home, Socialist Democrats are undertaking their woke divide and conquer strategy. Since the occupation of the Oval Office of Barack Hussein Obama, race relations in America have been in the toilet. Socialist Democrat Party and their agents in government and the media have been pushing a toxic stew of disinformation and hate. The Democrats have pushed to demonize and defund the police. The Democrats have pushed and instituted the teaching of critical race theory in government-run schools. And the Squad has led the anti-Semitic charge against Israel. Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi have teamed up with Bernie Sanders, AOC, Rashida MF Tlaib, and Ilhan Omar to put the American people at each other's throats. Last week, we told you how woke culture is promoting social experimentation in the United States military. While foreign enemies laugh and promote their militaries as aggressive defenders of their countries. Our military is being taught to hate based on skin color and sending a message that our military doesn't place a premium on defending our country. Rather, we focus on virtue signaling by compromising readiness, cohesiveness, and lethality of our armed forces. The leaders of the Democrat Party's squad, through their harmful anti-Semitic rhetoric, have inspired waves of attacks against Jews in America, as their devotees sing the praises of radicalized Islamic terrorists in our streets. Joe Biden's party has declared racism against whites is okay. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot proudly proclaiming that she would not grant interviews to white reporters. No major news organization decried her racism. Only Tulsi Gabbard, former Democrat congresswoman, had the courage to condemn Lightfoot. No words of condemnation were uttered by AOC, Ilhan Omar, Cory Booker, Val Demings, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, or any other socialist of note. Hating whitey is apparently okay in the socialists' America. And they do it all with the blessings of the majority of the biased press, a press that's now greenlighting racism and anti-Semitism. So what's the message here? The message is, just because you don't buy into wokeism doesn't mean it can't hurt you. In fact, we ignore this destructive left-wing extremist concoction at our own peril. The good news is the majority of America isn't dedicated to hate. The bad news is the majority of the Democrat Socialist Party is. They have long ago abandoned what unites this country. Quick, somebody nudge the Republican Party awake. They seem blissfully unaware of what Democrats have devolved into.